What's going on, everybody? It's Frito here for your Overwatch with a huge news roundup. We've got a director's take blog talking about balance, discussion on the current Season 5, and the new hero for Season 6. Lots of news to cover right after this quick message. Today's video sponsor is a favorite of mine because I was a fan, paying subscriber for years before they ever sponsored the channel. Manscaped is back with not one, but two awesome packages. Today we're looking at the new Performance Package 4.0 bundle. It's an all-in-one kit that includes all the tools you need for your perfect grooming experience. To start, we got the Lawnmower 4.0. It's cordless, waterproof with a built-in LED light so you can use it in the shower. The 4.0 has a replaceable ceramic blade and skin-safe technology, which is a game changer, guys. Skin-safe technology is an extra guard so that you can use it freely on the favorite parts of your body. It's feature complete with a travel lock and charging dock. It's an absolute must-have. But that's not all in the Performance Package 4.0. You've also got Crop Preserver, which is ball deodorant. It's a clear drying moisturizing lotion for all-day protection. And for a midday refresher, they've got Crop Reviver, ball toner spray with cooling aloe vera, which is anti-inflammatory. They've also got the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. This is a must because it stops you from looking like your dad in just a few swipes. You can also upgrade your shower game with the Ultra Smooth package. It has the Crop Exfoliator, liquid scrub to exfoliate the area and preemptively help reduce ingrown hairs while shaving. Then you apply the Crop Gel. It's a clear shaving gel so you can actually see what you're doing. Then you can get really close with the new Crop Shaver. This bad boy has 3 precision blades with extra wide lubricating strips and a pivoting head for the best shave at any angle. The Ultra Smooth package comes with 5 replacement blades for your Crop Shaver and a handy travel case. Pick up both these packages today and cash in on a free gift. You'll get both the Shed travel bag to put everything in and Manscaped's anti-chafing boxer briefs. Go to manscaped.com right now and use our promo code Overwatch to get 20% off your entire order and free international shipping. That's manscaped.com. Use code Overwatch, get 20% off and free shipping. First up, let's take a look at the director's take blog that just went live today, talking about the new Flashpoint Gamemode cinematics and the dawn of a new hero. Dawn, of course, is an operative word. Always keep in mind any light-based theming or terminology when in relation to the new Season 6 hero. Talking about Flashpoint, the mode that we're going to be getting in Season 6, which is essentially like Hardpoint or Headquarters, Aaron Keller shows off a early drawing of the mode. And here we can see that it is semi-symmetrical. He does confirm that the first spawn location for the objective will always be in the middle of the map at point A, but the rotations will be random from there, and once it does switch, you get a changed spawn. So the orange lettering is where you'll expect the objective to be, and you will get a corresponding spawn point depending if you are closer or farther away, with the intention to make each spawn distance, the travel time to run back to the point, as close as possible. So as an example, the C point way off on the right makes for the blue spawn to be the forward spawn and the red spawn to be a bit farther away, but the actual run distance will be about the same. However, I will note, it's very common in these kind of modes that certain power positions are significantly more advantageous, so even if the run distances are the same, you likely have a preferred spawn to get access to key parts of cover, high ground, etc. I look forward to playing the new mode in Season 6. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And while gamers oftentimes are deathly afraid of the term RNG, having the objective be a little bit random can shake up some of the natural advantages that start to brew in Overwatch games. Because it's hard to have perfect map control if you don't exactly know what part of the map is going to be relevant in the next few seconds. I think it's going to be the most raw skill game mode we have. You might say Control can play like that sometimes, but there's a lot of brawly, just run to the point type heroes that I think have an outmoded success rate on a lot of control points, as opposed to this one where mobile flankers and skill shot heroes will be able to really carry hard, I think, in the chaos. Aaron Keller goes on to talk about the balance of the game and says that it's in, quote, great shape. He says Junker Queen has evened out, Winston and Diva are on the rise, the popularity of characters like Tracer and Hanzo have been overtaken by Genji and Cassidy, and support is seeing a notable increase in Brigitte and Lifeweaver. Now, of course, when he talks about this, he's talking about global play rates. Recapping the balance changes from earlier in the week, and we'll take a more in-depth look at that after the blog post. Some surprising and interesting points here from Aaron. He says, what we found was that Cassidy's magnetic grenade was slightly too easy to land. Mei's over overall effectiveness dropped as she traded damage for more slowing utility, and Lifeweaver's impact was much greater than before. We're still looking to improve player control over aiming Thorn Volley. Keep that in mind for later. Coming up in the mid-season balance patch, which Aaron does confirm is still coming. What we saw this week was just a hotfix patch. In Season 5's mid-season patch, we're going to see a shift in power for Torbjorn and Symmetra away from their turrets and into the rest of their kits, improving the control over Sojourn's primary fire spread and increasing the frontline capability of Orisa and Reinhardt. Slight adjustments to weaken Zenyatta's Discord orb ability and several others. And well, it wouldn't be Overwatch balance if they didn't change 10 things at once. I'm interested to see how Reinhardt and Orisa need help on the front line exactly. I think many of their problems come down to the hindered status effect and Mei's slow. That goes for like all the tanks really, and if anything, these are the two that are the best at holding up on the front line. So a little confused what point he's making or what direction they'll be going, but we'll have to see in the coming weeks. Next up, he talks about cinematics. And while there will be cinematics in the story missions for Season 6, he says, as much as we can, we try to tell stories in the mission without taking control away from the players. We prefer the gameplay in these missions to be uninterrupted. The stories in these missions are told in two different ways. First, the missions themselves are each centered around a piece of narrative. We record an incredible amount of voice lines for each mission, and depending upon which heroes are selected, players will get different interactions and sub-stories in each mission. Second, each mission is bookended with 2 cinematics, and the heavy lifting of driving the plot forward is handled through these cinematics. In addition to these sequences, we have other pieces coming out in Season 5 to set up the story that we're telling in Overwatch 2 Invasion as well. What I think he's referring to is Genesis, Part 1 Dawn, an Overwatch 2 mini-series, which is going to be going live in 5 days' time on the 6th. This is a prequel series that kind of sets up all of the technology and growth of AI systems that sort of set the template for Overwatch's universe. This is before the Omnic Uprising, conflicts over AI rights, and sets the stage for the Overwatch 2 story. Considering the massive leaps in technology with ChatGPT recently, considering Overwatch was designed to have this story so many years ago, it's been surprisingly prophetic from this side of things. From what I can tell, the series will just play on YouTube, so it's not getting a big Netflix-style series, but a mini-series on YouTube, I would say, is better than nothing. And considering how successful the Overwatch cinematics originally did for Overwatch 1, my guess is they're hoping that this free-to-watch style will help draw players in and be interested in buying that Overwatch 2 storyline. Aaron Keller goes on to finish the blog post talking about the new hero that's coming in Season 6, a light-based support hero. On the Overwatch subreddit, a Redditor found out that the battle tag on the hero progression screenshot that they showed was named Luz de Sol, which from Spanish translates to sunlight, or maybe light of the sun. This builds on other hints that the new hero is originated from Peru, and even just based on the hero's silhouette, looks to be descendant of that type of sun worshiper civilization. I mean, they're not really being too subtle about it. Light is a big part of the new support hero. Aaron goes on to be even more direct about it in the blog post, saying, new hero. I can't say too much about this new hero. We'll do a full reveal later before Overwatch 2 Invasion launches, but I'm not above teasing a bit. Earlier in June, we gave players a quick glimpse of her silhouette, and the internet immediately went to work enhancing the video to give her more definition. Someone even created a concept piece for her. Aaron says they were surprised with how many of the details they got right about her. I'd like to recognize this detective work by revealing an image that is an integral part of this hero's backstory. Enjoy. And it says solar threading ritual. So it looks like our hero has been enhanced by light. And considering they've already shown us many mythical style powers in Overwatch that seem beyond comprehension, or new inventions that come out of nowhere, if Lifeweaver can create BioLight, Symmetra can work with Vishkar to create hard light, it looks like our Peruvian hero just harnesses Light. Yes, I'm as disappointed in that line as you are. Okay, guys, moving on. We'll take a quick look at the hotfix patch that came through earlier in the week. I did get a chance to play on it for a significant amount of time to get my feel of what's going on here. Cassidy's seeking radius on his magnade has been reduced from 1.5 to 1.3 meters, and the homing duration has been lowered from 1 second to 0.75 seconds. I think these numbers are a little bit hard to visualize. The homing duration's not so important to me, but I think it's aiming to combat some of those really weird, lingering hunter-killer drone type clips that we've seen float around where the magnade seems to follow a target forever. Often looks like a bug to me, but I think with this being lowered, then it won't follow you as long. I will say the seeking radius, that's the one that matters the most to me, because that's like effectively the hitbox of how well you have to aim the magnade itself. 1/5 of a meter cut off and shaved off the radius itself is a lot bigger than you think. And I feel it's much more forgiving after this change, but the peak potential of Cassidy is still insanely high. Onto the May changes, it may have looked a little surprising when Aaron Keller was basically saying that her viability went down despite so much power put into her slow. I did see that coming. We can explain why in a moment. On her endothermic blaster, the maximum slow applied by primary fire has reduced from 50% to 40%, and that's when you reach the maximum slow amount. But to compensate, they gave her more primary fire damage, going from 55 to 70, which I believe is still significantly lower from where it started. The Deep Chill passive gets a change as well. The maximum slow applied when this effect activates has been reduced from 75 to 65%. And as Aaron Keller said, she actually lost some performance due to the raw damage numbers going down. The annoyance factor went up. And it was my prediction that she would be better in team play, but in all other cases where you need to be the one to solo kill a target, simply slowing more and dealing less damage is not worth it. That's an easy thing to forget in video games. Like, you only need curses or disables or debuffs to the extent that it's needed to reduce time to kill. So trading off damage for a status effect, as annoying as it might be, I expected it to largely be a nerf. But that all being said, still rated her quite highly. Remembering, of course, in solo queue, you typically want to be the character that can deal the damage, get the picks, hit the shots, as opposed to the character that needs someone else to do something for you. It's just a bad way to try to win the game. Speaking of a bad way to try to win the game, let's look at Lifeweaver, where they tried to buff him significantly on the launch of Season 5. Even more buffs came through earlier this week, where they increased the number of projectiles to reach maximum spread on the Thorn Volley from 0 to 20, and the maximum ammo increased by 10. Now, my problem with this change, and Aaron Keller does say in the dev blog earlier that they are still looking for ways to make this more effective or give him more control over Thorn Volley, as he puts it. Let's think of the support category for a moment. How many of the support character's weapon has spread on it at all? Bap and Ana have a little bit of recoil when they shoot. I believe Zenyatta's charged volley does have a bit of a spread, but because it's a projectile in a tight little cone, it's hard to notice. It used to be flawless no spread at one point, and that deemed to be too good in one era. Kiriko can fire kunais just at head height perfectly, always, without missing the lane. Lucio's weapon is a bit sporadic, but does go right where you aim it. The list kind of goes on and on, guys. Like, this is a thing to try to buff Lifeweaver a bit, but I still feel it gets his weapon below baseline for the support category. Offense is incredibly important, and because there isn't any status effect on Thorn Volley, I'm not even going to say that I want it to have slow because we've got enough disables and slows in the game, but if it had like a bit of a poison tick up that you could apply, and the more you hit, maybe it did poison damage for a duration. I don't know. I'm just trying to give him something interesting to do, because at the moment, it's like the least impactful supportive damage. And, you know, Moira's damage is moderate to low, but has a spike play when you combine it with damage orb. And it's very easy to hit. Even with lesser spread on the first 20 shots, you need so many shots anyway that you're going to need to get into the spread to begin with. And even if they removed it completely, it still wouldn't be that effective of a weapon overall due to the fact that he's so sluggish to change from healing to damage. So there's a lot of downsides to Lifeweaver right now. His raw numbers being buffed, I feel, makes him quite a considerable threat for like the 90% tier of players, which does matter. Like as a healer, as a defensive style support, he's really going to be obnoxious for the enemy to deal with if they don't have high enough damage characters. Focus Fire as a team, which, you know, most players don't have any good Focus Fire, so there you go. There's actually a lot of plays for Lifeweaver to make, and I think with more time, I'm more comfortable saying that he might be out of the C tier and into like B tier or B plus if you're at the lower skill tiers where players are really going to struggle to burst through his big amounts of healing and escapes that you can give your team. But that's all he does. He just punishes weaker mechanics or punishes lower damage amounts. And in so many cases, he still suffers from the fact that supports often need to be able to have some offense or a lot of offense in order to carry the game. All the other supports have a significantly higher offensive play. So still just doesn't really fit in the game, in my opinion. There was a Reddit post that got a lot of traction saying Quest Watch is worse than I thought. A lot of players chiming in about this, that the text-based adventure tacked onto the Battle Pass doesn't really serve as content. And I gotta be honest, I tend to agree. I'm less upset about this than I was about Star Watch because Star Watch attempted to have gameplay. I find Quest Watch easier to ignore. However, what's hard to ignore is when they put these Battle Pass features on the content roadmap to tease us as if there was actual content coming to the game. A Battle Pass theme is not content. It's a shiny wrapper on the microtransactions you use to fund the game. So make the actual game, please. That's how I feel about it. Until then, we'll have to wait for the real content in Season 6. New hero, mode, and story mission. That's been it for today's news roundup video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave it a like, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to actually get notified when our videos come out. To support the channel, check out today's video sponsor, Manscaped, and use code Overwatch at checkout to get 20% off your entire order, plus free international shipping. That's been it for me. I've been Frito for your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.